Hello and welcome to your Spirit of the Soul show. I am usually live here Monday through Wednesdays. Generally, it's at like 1:30 p.m. Eastern. But we're here today. We made it. My schedule is a little discombobulated, so I show up when I can when that happens. I am Power Coach Alicia. Today we are on 78 in your 90-day journal that's all about finding your inner calm and embracing your truth. Every single day is a lesson. It's a quote, it's a journal prompt, it's an affirmation that helps you find your inner calm and embrace your truth. So if you're feeling a little disconnected inside or a lot disconnected, right? And then you show up in the world and you're giving of yourself and you're doing it in a way that is inauthentic, but you don't really know how to get to that foundation of showing up as who you are while being calm and at peace and without feeling guilty. That is what this daily show and this journal is about. And I'm telling you, just so much fab saucery here that will change your life. So if you need the link to this journal, you're just going to shout out journal in the comments and I will get that to you. Today, we're talking all about you owing you. You owe you. We're going to talk about your soul vow. So hopefully you've got the sound on. You can hear me. Can you say hi in the comments if you're live here with me so I know that you can hear me? If you are also live, if you'll drop a hashtag live party, that would be great. If you're watching this on replay, it's hashtag after party. I will respond to your comments as if you were live here. So I'll go back through and I'll respond to all of them as long as you engage with me in the comments. So let me pull up my screen so I can make sure I see if you guys actually comment, because Facebook's fun like that. The quote of the day is a sacred promise etched in the tapestry of your being. Oh, your soul vow is a sacred promise etched in the tapestry of your being, an oath to nurture your spirit, honor your truth, and embrace the journey of self-love and growth. A soul vow is a vow you make to yourself, for yourself, by yourself, that you hold for yourself because you deserve it. Okay, because you know that it is what you need to do for you. So, creating a soul vow is a powerful lesson in intention, commitment, and the transformative power of aligning with your soul's deepest desires. Like, what's your vow to yourself? What's something that no matter what happens, like you're holding to that? Fuck everybody else. Fuck everything else. This is a vow to me. You know, you run through life showing up and giving. You feel like you owe this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that, right? Like Tony Robbins says, you end up shooting all over yourself. But what do you owe you? What's your vow to you? How the fuck do you show up for you and honor what it is that you need? I just got off one of the best soul healing sessions that I have ever had in my life. Seriously, one of the best I've ever had in my whole life. And I could not be more proud of this client because we have been working. Well, we spent a good stint of a year together consistently. Okay. And in this year, we were working very hard on boundaries and standards and enforcing them and people pleasing and triggers and feeling guilty and just, hey, Angie, and just really doing some heavy work, right? Over this time frame of this year, really heavily in about 6 months of the whole year. Then 2023, most of you know, I fell off the face of the earth pretty much. Didn't know what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, if I was going to do it, where I was going to go. So now in 2024, like I came back about August of 2023. But now in 2024, it's like going back to these past clients. Where are you at? What you doing? How's it going? Sort of energy. And getting on this session with her was like talking to myself. This hardly ever happens because what happens was when you start a soul healing journey, you allow other things to get in the way and you never come to the full culmination of standing in your power, living in your power, and like honoring the vows that you make to yourself. You never get there because you start in shifting, which is my soul shift membership. but you never make it to revive, which is the full lasting transformation of you now living as the badass fucking person that you are. And that's what I teach you in the Revive Mastermind. But most people take Soul Shift, they get in there, they do a little shifting, they start feeling a little bit better, which is the beginning of the work that makes the work in the Revive. And then what happens is the backsliding and having to do it all over again, right? But she was in, at that time, my version of the Revive, and fucking just did it. So coming into session with her today of this soul healing session, getting where she's at and what's going on, she scored pretty high on the quiz, was so beautiful to hear me in her power, in her voice, from her standpoint, from her energy, from her belief system. And when I say hear me, it's like all the things I've been telling her for over about 3 years. All the things she's been hearing from me for all the time she's been in my world. But now it isn't me telling her and her buying into them. It's her own belief systems, her own fucking power, her own just badassery shining through. And it makes me so fucking proud, because the truth is, she doesn't need soul shifting. She doesn't need a revive. She's ready to stand in and live in and develop her deeper spirituality, working with astrology and the moon and the planets and, those sorts of things. So that's the work we're going to be doing together in my Soulful Moon Astrology with her. And I just think that's beautiful. That's her maintenance plan, is her spirituality work. So why am I sharing this with you? Because when you fucking stop living on the side of what you owe everyone else, and the commitments you made to everyone else, or that you didn't make, but for some reason you're honoring them in this really weird energy as if you did make the commitments, but you never did. And you kind of put a stop to that, a hold on that. And you say, you know what? Me fucking first. Another powerful thing that she said in the session was, this is exactly where I want to be. The Soulful Moon Astrology, doing this work. And it's not enough to sign up for it, she says, and be a part of it. She says, I will make the time to show up and do this for me, because this is the next step for me. So let me ask you something. Are you making vows like that to yourself, where you commit to something and then you actually step into it and you show the fuck up for yourself and you do that work? No excuses. No bullshit about time and not having it. It's bullshit. We all have the same amount of time in a day. You have somebody who runs 20 companies in a day and you can't make time to show up for yourself to heal your soul. It's bullshit. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many fucking kids you have. I don't care what your husband's job is, your no partner. It doesn't matter. Like, you make time for what is most important to you. And if every goddamn day you wake up and you vow to show up for everyone else and you put yourself last, you aren't important enough. So what's the point? What's the point in signing up? What's the point in committing? What's the point in buying the book? What's the point in downloading the podcast app? What is the fucking point if you're not going to show the fuck up for yourself? Because without showing up for yourself, nothing happens. You just have all of this information, you've spent money, and you're doing nothing, right? A vow to yourself is you owing you, and you making this vow and you doing for you no matter what, at all fucking costs. And you teach the people around you, including children, partners, friends, family, to respect this time. I don't answer phone calls during my soulful morning. I generally don't even send a text message. The only time I'm responding to text messages is if there's something I'm actually waiting on a response for that is time sensitive. Other than that, my soulful mornings, everything is on block. Okay? I've been doing that since my children were 1 and 3. My children are now almost 15 on Monday and 18 in March. So I have been doing this for 14 years. So yes, I have older kids now, but when I enforced this, when I taught them, when I showed them how to respect my time, my space, my energy, and what I needed to be a better version of me, they were 1 and 3 years old. So if you have some fucking story about how your kids won't understand, or they can't do this, or they're too young, you're wrong. They can understand. They will be able to do this because this is something else I always say. The people in your life, including your children, will rise to the standards that you set, whether you set them high or you set them low. So you might as well set them high so that they can rise to the level of what is needed for them to be the best version of themselves and learn independence and stand in their power and entertain themselves and all the things, rather than setting them low, because that's not how life works. Life will always show up and give you the things at this level, and you've got to decide if you're going to rise the fuck up or play fucking small. So you might as well teach it to your children and the people around you right goddamn now. That's a soul vow to yourself, is to show up and be for you and do for you what you need to do at all costs. At all costs. Okay? So I think that's a good question, Angie. She says, what if you have a child that truly doesn't understand? Is that true? I have worked with a lot of people with autistic children. I have a child that, or a nephew that's on the spectrum. Is that true, or is that the belief system you have? Have you repeatedly taught them this process for you to have space, or do you automatically say they don't understand so you can use that as an excuse not to show up for yourself? This is a challenge that I'm issuing you. What's the actual truth? Have you done the work for the child to understand, to get to the point that they don't? Or have you read a textbook that says they would never be able to understand? You know, I have watched different behavioral issues with really close friends, children, like I said, my nephew, other people in my life. And the one thing I can tell you more than anything, it's the people around them that believe they don't have that ability, rather than the child not having the ability. Now, not with everything, but with specific things that help that child grow. So this isn't a blanketed everything, oh, they're enabling or not allowing the space. It generally comes to the mother feeling guilty that she's doing those things for herself when she has a child that is special needs. Aha! Thank you for being fucking honest, Angie. High five for you. She says, no, I always presume competence with him. Why? If you decide for him, you're taking away the opportunity for him to not only decide for himself, but learn for himself. If this is how it's going to be for him the rest of his life, the best thing anybody can do around this child is, one, help push him to greatness, and two, get the fuck out of his way so he can decide what the truth is for him. Now, some people would be like, oh, they're 2, they're 3, they're 4. They don't know. Yes, they do. You're just treating them like they don't. Plenty of my clients have children with no behavioral issues, and they do the same fucking thing. Why? 1-year-olds can do chores, but parents don't think they can. 1-year-olds can respect your time, but parents don't think they can. Or is it that they don't think they can? Or is it that they feel guilty if they take the time away from the 1-year-old? See, I'm all about the truth, right? So my very, very, very educated guess is, through repetition, Angie, he will understand and he will step up. Maybe it's more repetition than, and I know yours isn't behavioral issues. I don't mean to say it like that. I know I have another client that has children with behavioral issues. And my brain is not working on how I should be articulating this, but I know you understand exactly what I'm saying. It might take more time for him to get it than a child that doesn't have the same diagnosis. That's okay. Keep going. Keep showing. Teach him how to put himself first. Teach him how to take care of himself through you taking care of yourself. Because the more that you do that, the more power he has to rise up in himself as life goes on, and he faces the world and figures out how to become independent, and or as independent as he's going to be, and live. Like, is it autism? I feel like it's autism. I'm going to go with that. Remind me if it's autism, just so I make sure I'm not speaking out of turn in examples. Or out of place, I should say. Empower. Oh, Down syndrome. See, I was like right on that line. There's something else, right? Empower your children no matter what the fuck is going on. Because listen, we could pull back from Angie's son with Down syndrome. And you can pull back from autism and Asperger's. And you know what? You have another million fucking parents doing the exact same thing over anxiety and depression. Oh, they have anxiety and depression, so I can't do that. You don't understand. Yes, the fuck I do. And the reason why they're not getting any better is because their anxiety and depression is what you enable day in and day out, instead of empowering them to fight like a motherfucker, to stand up again and again, to find their internal power. But you can't do that because you don't even have your own. See, we can't transfer to our children what we wish they had if we don't obtain it ourselves. We can only give our children the weak shit that we have, right? And so that's thinking that they can do less than what they really can. That's believing that whatever they've been diagnosed with is the definition of them, and it just is. It is not, unless you decide it is. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. You can't die from cancer unless you believe you're going to die from cancer. You have to be on that frequency, right? If you are not ever told you have cancer, but you have cancer, and then people around you start bringing in positivity and doing different things in your life and changing the way you view things and bringing that good energy in and the way you show up, and you start laughing, and you know, all of those things change, you will fucking heal that 9 times out of 10 in that person, depending on when you catch it, because of the power of positivity, the power of good energy, the power of that increased focus in a different direction. So whether it's Down syndrome or, like I said, Asperger's or any of these other things, or just a diagnosis from a doctor, how the fuck are you going to show up for that person or those people? Is it enabling or is it support? Right? Is it pushing to greatness as you would any other day for any other child? Or is it, no, I can't push you to greatness because you can't do that? How do you know? Because every Down syndrome child isn't the same. Every child with anxiety and depression isn't the same. Every child with Asperger's or whatever, they're not all the same. But we're treating them all the same, aren't we? Just put them all in this fucking bucket and operate in this way because they can't live this way. They can't process this way. They can't grow this way. Maybe not, but they can their own way. So are you holding the space for that? Are you bringing the power for that? Are you bringing the fucking weakness and transferring your inability to do for yourself onto them because it's your own bullshit truth? That's my question to you. That's why it's so important to make a vow to yourself to first show up for you and do for fucking you, so that when you have children, you can empower them, right? You can push them to greatness. You can show the fuck up for them at the best fucking level, even if it isn't the right thing. Even if you fucked it all up, but you can say, I did my goddamn best. I healed my own wounds. I stopped pushing my bullshit and my baggage onto my children and the other people in my life because I made a vow to myself to show the fuck up for me and give me what I owe me, and quit looking at the rest of the world like, what are you going to give me? And I also stopped taking all my shit and setting it in everybody else's lap, including my children's, because I wanted something better for them. So as I push myself to greatness, I get the fuck out of their way and I push them to greatness so that they can choose what the hell they want to do with it. Okay? That's what I have for you. Beautiful fucking question, Angie. Thank you for having the strength to ask that, right? Because there's so many women that think that. And they're not dealing with a child with Down syndrome. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. It's frustrating, right? Yeah, exactly. Like Daniel says, it's a minute by minute type thing also until it's a day by day thing and so on, right? So at the beginning, it might be a fucking nightmare to get your son to actually accept respecting your time for yourself. But as long as you don't give up, he'll get it. He's not stupid. He's got Down syndrome, right? They're not stupid. They have anxiety. They're not stupid. They have depression. The question is, what's your patience? How hard are you willing to fight for yourself to teach those around you how to treat you? God, this is a fucking killer session, and I've only gotten to the first period. Thank you, Angie. Woo! Okay. It's the understanding that by setting a conscious and heartfelt intention, you invite a huge change into your life. This lesson empowers you to connect with your innermost desires, clarify your purpose, and make a commitment to your soul's journey. Make a commitment to yourself. Show the fuck up for yourself the way you show up for everyone else, for you to give to yourself the way you wish the world would give to you. Every one of my fucking clients that work with me and hire me is because they believe that everyone around them is taking way too much from them. No. You're giving way too fucking much. Because you think you have to. Because you think it's required of you. Because it's what you need to do. Who else is going to do it? It's because it's what you committed to. It's because you can do it. You have the ability. It's because it's what you were shown. It's what you were taught. It's what your mother did. It's what was instilled in you. It's what you see all around you. You know what it is? Just the bullshit for you to not just clean the slate and go, what's true for me? What is it that I want to do? Where is it that I want to go? What's the trail that I want to blaze? You know, we spend so much fucking time in life adjusting everything we do to make everybody in our lives fit. That's not how this works. If you adjust everything you do so that the people in your life fit, you will have a whole bunch of fucking people who don't value you because you can't do it that way. You have to run your life in a way that you're giving to you, that you make vows to yourself, that you show the fuck up for you, that you fight like hell for you. You've got your standards, you've got your boundaries, you're enforcing these things. And then what happens? The people around you reinforce. The people around you hold space for that. The people around you work to see, hear, and understand who the fuck you are, because that's the kind of energy you bring. That's the kind of person you are, and you do not accept anything less than that. And when you don't, the people will clear themselves out, right? And the ones that are there will rise the fuck up, including children, including partners, including friends. That's how it goes. If you have adult children and you do this, they could get the fuck out. That's their choice. They'll come back, especially if they're in their 20s, early 30s. They need some time to grow the fuck up and realize it's them, not you. But maybe it is you if you're not doing the fucking work you need to do. So I ask you this too. For everyone who's parents, if you have children that are 9 years old and younger, they are the most impressionable right now. Right now. So how do you live? How do you show up? What are you teaching them? What are you teaching them how to treat themselves? What are you teaching them how to treat you? What are you teaching them how to treat other people? Fucking bet you're teaching them the wrong fucking things. You're teaching them to disrespect you while demanding, commanding, and screaming about respect nonetheless, right? Or shutting down because you're not getting it. You're teaching them to disrespect other people because, you know, kids come first. Their voice is heard first. What they need is first, which is not how it goes. Unless they're a fucking baby and can't do for themselves. Okay? And you're also teaching them to treat themselves the same exact way you treat you. So you're just breeding another version of yourself. Why? Are you fucking miserable? Do you love this? Do you love living this way? Do you love being disconnected from yourself? Do you love being a people pleaser and people walking all over you and triggers fucking you up and sabotaging yourself and dealing with old childhood healing? Do you realize you can pass that shit down even if the shit didn't happen to your kid? You can transfer that angst, that depression. You can transfer all of that to them by how you live every single day. But you're over here worried about fucking cooking dinner and that makes you a good mom? It doesn't. Who gives a fuck? Let them eat a goddamn corn dog and go do some journaling and some meditation and teach them how to love and respect themselves and other people. That's what I have to say about that. Your soul vow is about what you are not willing to negotiate for your own happiness and how you show up in your world. And when you know what you're not willing to negotiate for your own happiness and how you show up in the world, your entire fucking life changes. Doors start opening. You start being led different ways. I went and did this thing today called the body code. Yeah, I messaged this lady in September 2023, I guess. I don't remember doing it. I messaged her in September of 2023. Today I found out it was September 29th. Oh my God. I couldn't imagine. I could not fucking imagine doing the session that I did today with her on September 29th of 2023. She never saw the message. She's like, I always get back to my clients. She never saw the message because I wasn't supposed to be messaging her. I wasn't supposed to be there at that time. I wasn't ready for the work that needed to be done. I absolutely fucking wasn't ready on any level looking back. Today, she kept saying, wow, you did so much work. We did talked about so much. We cleared so much. Are you okay? How are you doing? How are you feeling? It's like, no, I'm ready to leave all this goddamn shit, right? I'm ready to release all of this shit. So that's why you're like, it's just like, God, this is so fast. This is so much. I'm thinking to myself, that's Power Coach Alicia, right? She doesn't know me. She has no fucking clue who I am. So she felt the session was weird because she didn't need to educate me on all the things that she was doing. She's basically the physical energy clearing of the person I am doing it emotionally. So she can clear it physically and I teach you how to do it emotionally. So it's like, it made so much sense to me, right? But I've been stepping forward and stepping forward and stepping forward, clean, clearing, and releasing day in and day out. 2023 was a big year for that, but I'm still doing that now. And now that I've cleaned out so much of the shit, things that were underneath, you know, stuck to the floor because the juice spilled, but you didn't see the juice spilled underneath the pile of shit until you cleaned up the pile of shit. And now you've got shit stuck to the floor from the juice. You know what I'm talking about? Now I'm to the shit stuck to the floor. It's like, oh my God, I never saw this. I never felt it. I never seen it. Yeah, this makes sense. I want to clear this. Now I can do that other work of things that I never saw before. But it starts with that soul vow to yourself, and it starts with what you owe you, because you owe yourself a fuck ton more than you can possibly ever imagine. So you want to be an amazing mom, you want to be an amazing wife, you want to be an amazing friend, start with what you owe yourself and make vows to yourself that can never be broken. And if people attempt to break these vows, like the vows that you have to yourself, and people start intruding on them and fucking with them, you'll completely know that those are boundaries that you need to put forward to protect the vows that you've created with yourself. And if they don't value, honor, and respect those boundaries, they get the fuck out of your life. There's no middle ground. Because as soon as you start letting that middle ground come in, they start obliterating the vows with yourself. And now we're out of soul alignment. We're completely disconnected. And now our worth is attached to what we do and give to everyone else. So if we're not doing and giving, we don't feel as good. When we are giving and doing, we feel good. But now we're extended at capacity and we have nothing left to give ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying? Does this make sense? I need you to shout out in the comments if this is connecting with you, it makes sense, and you're taking away what I'm throwing down here, because this is hard fucking core. By creating a soul vow, you declare your dedication to your personal growth, your inner alignment, and living a life in harmony with your authentic self. Okay? Fantastic. So, when you look at day 78 in your 90-day journal, what I'm reading to you will be in there. What I'm saying to you will not. That's why I do these sessions. Okay? What I'm reading to you will be in here. What I'm saying to you will not. Okay. So I didn't do this at the beginning. I guess I had some shit to say that I didn't really know that I had to say. But coming up on February 29th is my Power SOULcamp. That's all about setting strong boundaries, enforcing strong boundaries without feeling guilty so that you can feel at peace. I don't have the page ready to sign up yet, but if you want to make sure that you are in on this SOULcamp, it is free. And anybody who's in Soul Shift Healing, you do get access to the replay as long as you're a member. If you're not in Soul Shift Healing, you get limited time access to the replay. It's free for now, but when it goes live, it will be paid. And I'm going straight to $111. So it goes from free to $111, because if you've ever attended one of my soul camps, they're worth $1,111. The work that we do there is fucking beautiful. It's brilliant. It's deep. It's powerful. Okay. So even if you've been doing boundary work with me, this soul camp is going to help. Even if you've been to these Spirit of the Soul sessions, this soul camp is going to help you deepen it. Remember that repetition is the mother of skill. So when you think you've got it all figured out, when you step into an energy, you're going to learn really quick there's another layer. Maya and I learned that there were layers to an onion about the same time in one of my Elite Life sessions a couple of years ago. We had this beautiful conversation. There was all of us in a group. We were talking about how Just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's a different angle and you've got another layer of an onion of something that has been building and building and building over time. Or it's the same concept. If you thought that that pile of clothes, that pile of garbage, that pile of this was just these things, but as you got deeper, you realize there was so much other shit in this pile. You've been wasting money. You didn't know where it was. You could have made your life a hell of a lot easier. When you get to the bottom, there was juice spilled that you didn't know was spilled. There was fucking ants there. Like all of a sudden you realize there's so many other layers to this level that, or to this area that you thought was just this one thing, right? All right. So that's what we're doing in that soul camp. Just shout out power in the comments. Like I said, if you're in soul shift healing, you're automatically, you've got access to the replay of that. As long as you are a member. The other thing is my free quiz. That's the secret weapon against burnout, people pleasing, and self-sabotage. If you have not taken this quiz, shout out quiz in the comments. I will get you the link for that. This quiz has been the foundation for so much powerful transformation in the last few weeks. I am just so proud that I listened to my coach and followed my intuition on how to build this quiz and what the questions would be and how I would use it to change lives. So I know that a few of you on here have been in these soul healing quiz review sessions. They're ungodly. Even if you've done a breakthrough session with me in the past, this is different. It feels different. You'll absolutely love it. Okay. But anyways, take the quiz and then we go from there on what the results are and, how we build out your plan or not. Some people don't really need a plan. They just need a pat on the back. Like, hey, you're still doing good. All right. So that's what I have for you in what I want you to make sure that if you want to be a part of it and you want to take part of it, that you jump in. Your journal prompt for today is take a moment to reflect on your life's purpose and your soul's deepest desires. Oh, can we talk about something really quick? I was doing my soulful morning this morning, and it's the point where I set up my week. And it was like, what are your creative hobbies? And I had all of these things to write as my creative hobbies. And I was so proud of myself because like a year ago, I had like 2 things. And it's like, how did I only get to 2 things? I'm a percussionist. I love music. Yeah, I'm not really quote unquote creative, but I do like doing creative things. I'm a master seamstress. I could have been fucking sewing and making really amazing things all of these years. So that's another creative thing that I do. I've been crocheting since 2001, but stopped crocheting for like, I don't know, fucking, how old's my kid? Ronan's 18, so I probably stopped crocheting 15 years ago. I guess it was when Stratton's born, You start going through and like, oh my God, there's all these creative outlets that I have. Like, what the fuck happened? Like what is going on? Where did this get disconnected? Which is funny because when I was at my body code session today, it's like, oh, your sacral chakra needs work. It's blocked. You really need to step into more creativity. And I thought to myself, creativity isn't the problem. Your sacral chakra is sexuality, creativity, relationship, blah, blah. It's multiple things. The creativity is definitely not the problem in that level of creativity, but in in other areas. And so it was really cool to have that session with myself this morning, go into the body code session, and then realize like, okay, it's not that, it's these things. See, the more work that you do, the more connected you become with yourself. And it isn't just about loving yourself. It's about the time you spend with yourself. How do you develop that relationship with yourself like you do your partner or your children? You're like literally hanging out with yourself. And now I get to the point where me, we're like, sometimes we're fucked up together. I was watching somebody build a shelf the other day. I had a fucking blast. I was laughing my ass off and kind of like being rude. Like, I don't know. It was kind of rude. It was like, oh my God, I would laugh so hard if all that work that you just did, you put that together wrong. Like, why would I say that? But me had so much fun that it actually stopped the person from like getting really pissed off at this shelf because it was a complete shit show. I would have never done it. I would have thrown the fucking wood pieces across the room. Well, like I would have never made it to the end. This is why I don't build things. I know my limits, right? Like, in the middle of this whole bantering, I say, oh my God, me are having a blast over here. I wish you could attend. It's like one of my favorite things. It's because you have these moments where you realize that you are having such a blast with yourself and it doesn't require anybody to attend this party for those feelings. And that's like That's when you get into the revive level, right? That's not like at the shifting level, but that's the revive level. The lasting transformation is the level that, Maya is at from the work that we've done together. It's definitely the level that I am at, right? When you get to the revive level, and that's how you live your life every day, is at that revive process, you have a fucking blast with yourself. And like Maya says, the birth of projects. Oh, she says the birth of projects is more of what I'm getting. Yeah. I do have a lot of projects that are started right now. A lot. But yeah, my sacral chakra definitely, it's a lot about my sexuality, and not in sexuality like um am I not like gender sexuality or like that sort of thing, lesbian or straight or sort of thing like that, but like really doing a lot of healing around a lot that's happened in that environment. I don't have sexual traumas and like rape, molestation, those sorts of things, but there's a lot of sexual trauma in the way that I treated myself and used my body and da 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 da. And so it's like when you step into these environments where this thing can mean these 15 things, when you're really connected to yourself, you get really clear on which part of these 15 things or these things that are what you really need. It's so, so beautiful. All right, journal prompt. Take a moment to reflect on your life's purpose and your soul's deepest desires. What intentions or commitments would align you more closely with these aspirations? Consider the areas of your life where you feel called to make changes or deepen your connection with your true self. You can turn these insights into, or can you turn, or how can you turn these insights into a soul vow? Write about your experiences and intentions for creating a soul vow that resonates with your authentic self. All right, I'm going to read that again. Take a moment to reflect on your life's purpose and your soul's deepest desires. What intentions or commitments would align you more closely with these aspirations? Consider the areas of your life where you feel called to make changes or deepen your connection with your true self. How can you turn these insights into a soul vow? Write about your experiences and intentions for creating a soul vow that resonates with your authentic self. Your affirmation for today is I create a soul vow that aligns with me. I create a soul vow that aligns me with my deepest desires and purpose. I make a commitment to my soul's journey, embracing transformative change and personal growth. End it right there. So I create a soul vow that aligns me with my deepest desires and purpose. I make a commitment to my soul's journey, embracing transformative change and personal growth. I create a soul vow that aligns with my deepest desires and purpose. I make a commitment to my soul's journey, embracing transformative change and personal growth. So, we say everything we say today to say, you owe you. To make a vow to yourself, to show up for yourself every single fucking day and every single way that your soul calls and your soul needs. Whether it's pockets of time, a chunk of time, it doesn't fucking matter how you give to yourself. Just give to yourself and don't make fucking excuses not to. Oh, I'm too tired. I'm too stressed. I'm too busy. Those are all excuses to not show up for yourself. Because God damn it, if someone else in your life needed you to show the fuck up for them the way I'm saying you need to show up for you, you would not say I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'm too busy. You would not say that. So if you would not say that to the people that you love most, you damn sure can't say that to yourself. Remember to say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. It is always about progress, not perfection. And make sure that you give yourself way more grace than you give everyone else, because the world needs who you are made to be. So show up every single fucking day and slay. I'm Power Coach Alicia, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.